Hello everyone and welcome to today's edition of Impact 365. I'm Tiara Fair, your Impact 365 series host. Impact 365 is a production of United Way of Delaware in partnership with DETV. In this ongoing series, we look at how United Way of Delaware and its partners make a positive impact across Delaware. We talk about what's working well, and we look at how to make things better. Today on Impact 365, we'll be discussing Delaware 211, the toll-free helpline that connects Delawareans in crisis with social service providers that can help. Thousands of Delawareans struggle to meet basic needs. Many more are dealing with things like mental health issues, access to housing, childcare, health problems, transportation issues, and more. At times like that, the biggest challenge can often be just knowing where to turn for help. That's where 211 steps in. Trained, compassionate counselors connect callers with social service providers who have the experience and resources to address many of these problems. The service is a partnership between United Way of Delaware and the state of Delaware. It's 100% free and 100% confidential. Today, we'll hear from 211 staff and from several of the dozens of service providers that work with 211. They'll explain how 211 works, what a typical call is like, and what kinds of help is available. But before we get to that, I want to introduce my co-host for this edition of Impact 365, Donna Snyder-White. Among her other duties at United Way of Delaware, Donna oversees the operation of the 211 helpline. Welcome to Impact 365, Donna. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you, Tiara. Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be here today, but the truth is I'm here on behalf of the entire 211 team, most of whom are on the phones right now helping Delawareans. Every year, we manage more than 80,000 calls for help, and that number only grew during COVID. We have some great guests today, but first, I want to acknowledge the many people who aren't here today, and that's the entire 211 team. Helping people in crisis requires compassion, patience, and listening skills, but it also requires organizational skills, attention to detail, and an in-depth knowledge of social services available in Delaware. 211 callers expect us to have answers in difficult situations. I'm proud to say the 211 staff comes through time and time again. I wish every one of them could be here with us today, but two of our best will be joining us later on today. But before we meet them and other guests, let's watch a short video about the Salvation Army is always stepping up to help, especially in the worst of times.
I think what we see a lot of is folks who fall between the cracks and really need that hand up to get sustained and stable moving forward. So providing housing and the basics of food and utility assistance, and just let them know somebody's there and does care for them. I think most people are one or two paychecks away from being on the doorstep of an organization looking for help. I will share with you this, that during our mass food distributions up and down the state, on more than one occasion did we have folks who drove up in the line and say, you know, last year at Christmas I put money in your red kettles, never thinking I would need your service. Thank you for being here today to provide for my family in order so that we can survive the next couple of days. I am very thankful for Delaware 211. There's a couple of reasons. One, we know when folks come to us, they have called Delaware 211. But most importantly, there's a one-stop number for folks to call and reduce that level of the runaround. They're going to call one number and be able to get to the source that they need through 211 with all the resources that are there.
That was great, Donna. I know the Salvation Army is just one of the many service providers that callers can connect with through 211. And because every call is unique, the 211 team has to be on top of its game with up-to-date information and a good sense of how to guide a caller to the right resource. Who do we have with us today to walk us through some real-life situations?
Tiara, today with us is John Bates, Deputy Director of Ministry of Caring. The Ministry of Caring serves nutritious meals at the Emmanuel Dining Room, provides transitional and long-term housing, helps connect unemployed persons with dignified work, provides child care and education for the homeless children, and much, much more. The Ministry of Caring has been a Delaware institution for decades. Also with us today is Paulina John, Early Childhood Comprehensive System Administrator for the Division of Public Health, Maternal Child Health Bureau, which offers a wide variety of social services, particularly for children and families. Thanks for joining us today, Paulina and John, and welcome to Impact 365.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy you all are here. Are you nervous? No,
I'm okay.
A little bit. Everybody's like, oh, okay, we're good, we're good. So we'll start off easy. We'll start off
Sounds
really
good.
easy, okay? So tell us, we said a lot of words about each of your organizations, and tell us in a nutshell, what is the work that your organizations do in real life? And then also tell us a little about you. How long have you been there? Who wants to start?
I can go.
Okay, good.
So my name is Paulina Jan, as Donna introduced me, and I've been with the Division of Public Health since 2007, so that's almost 15 years.
Okay.
And in this position as the Early Childhood Comprehensive Systems Program Administrator, I've been there for 10 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, John?
And my name is John Bates, as Donna stated. I'm with the Ministry of Caring. I've been there for 4 years now. It is what I do. The services that the ministry provides is something that I've always done in terms of being a service provider, personally, and all the work that I've done over the years. We provide a wide range of services. We have continuum of care that's, I believe, second to none in Delaware in terms of nonprofits. We are grateful that 211 is there to support us and make referrals so that we can help the folks that we're value to help. So we just thought to be here also. So thank you for having me.
Awesome. So let's start with you, Paulina. The Division of Health and Social Services is vast in the services that it provides to Delawareans across the state. We also know that you all are helping one person at a time. How does 211 play a role in helping you all to really help people get the services that they need?
Okay. So through Division of Public Health, which is under the Social Services, so the Maternal Child Health Bureau tries to assist children and families. And so through that, we have partnered with 211, because what we've seen in the past is that we see families kind of call in multiple numbers to just access, resources and services within the community. And so what we've done is with funding either from the state or from the federal programs. So my program is funded through the federal program. And so we partner with community, community services, as well as other nonprofits, just to make sure that they can deliver those resources and services to our families. And so through Help Me Grow, so Help Me Grow is a system, it's a national system that we are affiliated with. And so we joined that in 2011, and we've partnered with 211, just to make sure that the delivery of services is in a way that we don't have families falling between the cracks, and at the same time, families don't have to call multiple numbers, because 211 is a one-stop shop. And so once a family picks up the phone and calls it, they're able to access other resources. 211 has a vast, I would say, database of state, resources. And so instead of calling different programs just to find out, where they can get those resources, we have this partnership with 211. And the good thing about it is that it's, in terms of time, they work on Saturdays, and it's from, I think, 8 a.m. through to, is it 9 p.m.?
Yes, it is.
And so we have quite an extensive in terms of the working hours. where families, when they come back from their work and all that, can pick up the phone and call. At the same time, they do follow up. And so once you call Help Me Grow 211, you're going to get, as long as you say you're okay with them calling you, because they have to check with that. They don't just pick up the phone and say, hey, we're checking on you.
Okay.
So as long as you're okay with it, they'll pick up the phone and call you just to find out that the resource that they gave you, because they'll initially give you about 3 resources, and so you try, and after 8 days, they'll call you just to make sure that those needs were met. If they were not met, then you're going to have them kind of walk you through and see if they can find some other place that you can get the services that you need. So what we're trying to do is to make sure families get the needs that they're looking for, they don't fall between the cracks, and also that they have an understanding of where to look for information, because what it does is it empowers them. You just have one number to call.
Absolutely. So it sounds like Help Me Grow is a piece of 211. Is that right, Donna?
That is correct. It is a specialty program that is nested in 211.
Okay.
And so, like Paulina and the Division of Public Health, they saw the need to focus on women of childbearing years, to make sure that they were getting the support they needed, but also after they have their little ones, on the importance of children and families in the community. And so that's why Help Me Grow was launched almost 10 years ago this year, right, Paulina?
Right, yeah.
So yeah,
Happy birthday to us.
I know. Help Me Grow.
Happy birthday, Help Me Grow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and to Paulina's point, and I know it's the same for John too, it's easier for folks to just call the one number versus trying to remember all those different numbers in the state.
Absolutely. Donna, I have a question. When did 211 start? Like, when was life before 211?
Well, I can't speak of life before 211 because I wasn't around, but there were, people were struggling to find the right resources. So 211 is over 20 years old. So we've definitely been here for a while. And then, as a matter of fact, our name originally was called the First Call for Help, because people need to make that first call to help. But then we also saw the benefit of connecting with a national initiative, which connects 211s across the whole United States and also Canada, to have one systemic solution for getting help in all the states, and that's through 211.
Wow, so no matter where you are in the nation, you can call 211. It's not just Delaware.
No, it's not just Delaware. You can call 211 in any state in the U.S. for sure.
But if you call from a 302 number, then you would be reaching 211, like your staff
in Delaware,
your
yes.
team, right?
It is state related, so you can call 211 in Delaware and you'll get Delaware. You call 211 in Texas and you'll get
Texas.
Right,
okay,
right.
Makes sense.
And I know that John also has great programs in our database, and we've been in a partnership for a very long time at 211. I think your organization dates back to the mid-1995, I think.
70.
See, that's before
Brother
me.
Ronald, it's actually in our 45th year this year. We're celebrating our 45th year.
Excellent.
Happy birthday.
It started, yeah, thank you.
We're all celebrating
and all
birthdays.
credits goes to Brother Ronald Giannone. He started 45 years ago with the emergency shelter for single women. And from there, all the services just took off in terms of child care, job placement, dental office, senior housing, transitional housing. So yeah, and a lot of those referrals that we get, of course, come from 211. So it's a great partnership.
You all do so many things. Do you get all of your referrals from 211 or just some of them? And what are the most where do you see the most referrals you get?
It's it's a combination, because I think 211 provides a lot of referrals in terms of shelter care and child care. But we have other services, as I stated, including senior housing, transitional housing, that we have partnerships with many other community partners, including Housing Alliance of Delaware, Henrietta Johnson Medical Center. So we have a number of partnerships. I mean, it's a long list. So we provide services to folks who are in need, and that's what we do.
You said, so when we talk about Ministry of Caring, we talk about serving the poor in Delaware. How do you think the nature of poverty has changed, or has it changed, especially in the last few years?
That's a good question. I'm not sure it's changed. I think the folks who are living in poverty has a more difficult time of getting out of poverty because goods and services has increased. Housing costs is off the chart. So I think it's more difficult. I think the good news is that we may have more support for those families who want to get out of poverty, and we're willing to provide that support to those families.
Awesome. So what do you think might happen if 211 wasn't available?
Oh, we'd be in chaos. The Delaware and every other state, for that matter, who does not have 211 would be in chaos because people need somewhere to go. And oftentimes, even with 211, sometimes people can't figure out how to get access to services and supports that they need. But having 211, it's easy access, easy number to remember. And so I think without 211, a lot of families will not get what they need, will not get the support they would not need, and will not have the opportunity to climb out of poverty, without question.
That's awesome. I just want to thank you both so much for all the work that you do. I want to thank you so much for really being great partners with 211 because I think that is, like 211 wouldn't exist without partners. 211 wouldn't exist without people and organizations putting effort into making sure that we have this expansive database. And so, Paulina, John, thank you.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Without caring partners like you, 211 would be just a phone number. The people of Delaware are fortunate to have resources like yours to turn to in crisis. We'll be back in a moment to continue our conversation, but first, let's watch this short message.
When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for help with food, healthcare, and other resources.
211, how can I help you?
Call 211 or visit 211.org. 211, get connected, get help.
Welcome back, everyone. We're going to switch gears now and take a closer look at 211 from the inside out. But before we do that, let's switch to a short video.
I had a call come in. The mom was very stressed out, didn't know what to do about paying bills. She was pregnant and had a little one at home, and she wanted to take the option of using a knife to harm herself. It really affected me because at that time I was also pregnant with a little one at home, so I put myself in her place and I didn't understand how stressful it is. So I was able to talk to her, talk her down, get her information, where she lived, her name, and I had a coworker who was able to call 911 so we could get help to her. I spoke to her about, her need to stay alive. She had a little one she had to take care of, and she had a baby inside her that needed her as well. So I was able to talk to her, calm her down, get her the help she needed. If someone's looking for help, the best way is definitely to call 211. It's simple. They can just dial 211 on their phone. They could text us at 898-211. They can also live chat us directly on our website, Delaware211.org. So no matter what means you might have, if you don't have the option to make a phone call right now, send a text, send a live chat, you can even send us an email.
And now I'd like to welcome Debbie Finch and Lynn Bivens. Ladies, welcome to Impact 365. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Tiara?
I'm good. I'm so glad you all are here. First, let's tell the people how long you've been with 211 and just a little bit about yourself.
I have been with 211 and the Help Me Grow program for 9 years. Okay. I'm a child development specialist there. My background is early childhood education.
Okay.
And we actually started together on the same day. Yep. So I've also been here for 9 years, Delaware 211.
It's gone so fast.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
Really?
time is really flying.
Time flies. When you guys came into 211, I know when you were hired, it's something about 211 that spoke to your passion, right? Speak to that, but also talk about when someone calls, what's the first thing you do and how do you really help someone when someone calls into 211?
Okay, so Debbie, you want to go first?
You go ahead.
Okay, so working at 211 is really, it's made a difference in how I impact my community because I'm pretty much the first point of call for people in need, people who are in crisis and they need services and don't know where to go. And so 211 has made a big impact, I feel. The work I do has made a big impact on the community at large. because we are the first point of call. We are the first point of contact for these people who don't know where to go for the services that they need. So, and I really enjoy my work. I like helping people in the community, people in need.
Great.
So.
I was excited with joining Help Me Grow because it was a different way to help families. I've been teaching early childhood for years, but this was a new step to help and support them. And you never know what's going to be on the phone. It might be something little, like I just need the number to the clinic, or it might be something bigger. They're in crisis. They need diapers, which sounds easy, but do they have to buy diapers or do they have to buy food? Do they need a parent support program like home visiting? You just never know who's calling and what their need might be.
Yeah, and everybody in the state, I know 211 is a statewide system, right? And so you call 211, people anywhere in the state can call and ask for help. The Help Me Grow program focuses really on women, children, pregnant moms, right? And then 211 has all the needs for anybody from prenatal to senior, right?
Exactly.
Can you give me an example if someone calls in, like what do you do? How do you make sure that their need got met? Either one of you.
Okay, so we get the call. People hear about us from either their neighbors, their friends. Some of them like go to their doctor's offices and they tell them about 211. But we get the calls for people in need. Like for example, now it's tax season. So we get lots of seniors right now. The process for getting their taxes filed is to have an appointment scheduled. A lot of seniors don't have access to the internet. So we've been there assisting the seniors by scheduling their appointments, their tax appointments, and setting up their tax appointments and reminding them. We get them registered first and then they get the reminders. So we follow up with the seniors too to make sure that they were able to make their appointments and that they remember the date of their appointments and where they're going. So things like that. We get calls for people who need help with food, people who need help with rent, utilities. We get calls from mothers, like she said, mothers with young children, people who need child care services, and just like all types of services, we get those calls. And it's just great being that resource to connect the people to the resources in the community, to the places where they can get the help and the services that they need.
Yeah.
Do you all actually talk to them after? So what happens after you give them phone numbers or emails, right? So you give them phone numbers of where to call, and the person calls, and then are you guys done with them, or what happens after that?
Well, first we see if there's any other need. They may be calling for that one thing like rent, but are they also struggling with food? Is there something else? And then we ask permission, can we follow up with you? I want to make sure you got help. And if not, why? Is there something else we can do? So that's a great follow through to make sure that they are getting what they need.
Okay.
Yeah. And I know, Debbie, when you said that, we want to make sure that people got their needs met. So that's huge, right? And so what ways do we do that? I mean, how do you guys make sure that the people got their needs met? Do you call everybody back, or do you reach out and how do they get their needs met?
We call them back. If they prefer text, we can text them as well. Were you able to get help? If not, what happened? Is it a paperwork issue? Did no one call you back? What exactly was the reason that there was a block to getting help?
And that's a lot of confidential information that someone's sharing too, right? So how do you guys respect people's privacy at 211?
We don't share their information with anyone.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So what you're saying is that 211 is completely confidential.
Yes, ma'am.
And so you're not sharing information like numbers or anything like that. But what if someone is in a lot of crisis? I know the video that we saw, Jen spoke about a mother that was in a dire need, and you all had to use teamwork to make sure that the mother got what they needed. But you had to call the police. So do you give personal information then, or how does that work?
Only when it's an emergency like that. If there's a self-harm issue, someone's really in danger, we will call 911 and share as much as we can with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, it sounds like 211 isn't just for emergencies. So emergencies are welcome, right? But if there can be people who call who just might need a resource, is that true?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you guys have a success story that you can share to give us an example of how someone's reached out to 211, but also you guys were able to really help them?
There've been many. We have so many. We do. I shared with Deb and Jen on the way here that I didn't really count it as a success story, but it was an individual who was a regular, won't say his name for confidentiality purposes, but he didn't get his ride from Logistic here, I can say that. And he was stranded, and I know I wasn't supposed to, but I gave him a ride because he needed it. So that was a success story, but me going above and beyond. But that's just kind of the attention our callers get from us. I mean, we do what we can. We actually go above and beyond most times for our callers because we're trying to get their needs met. So, I mean, that's one instance I could think of right off the bat.
The state offers home visiting programs which support new moms and dads also. Some of the moms are here from other countries. They have no one with them. I spoke to a mom a few weeks ago. She didn't speak English. We got an interpreter online, got her registered for home visiting support to make sure she had the support she needed being alone in a new country with a newborn.
Absolutely. What situation do you see the most? Do you see a lot of mothers in needs because of housing, or or food? Like, what's the situation that you guys hear about the most?
I said the top three, I think, are food, rent, utilities, and shelter. Housing or shelter. Those are the top needs we get pretty much every day on a daily basis, all day.
Yeah, and I know some people being on the phone all the time, like you're hearing crisis after crisis after crisis that emotionally has to get very draining. How do you guys take care of your own mental health and self-care? How do you support yourselves and each other?
Well, personally, I pray all day on the phone to myself, but the teammates, we make each other laugh a lot. We are there morally to support each other, and we just kind of keep it light when we can. So we find the fun or funny in little situations, and we keep each other's spirits up.
Absolutely. We know we can reach out to each other anytime, even after hours.
Absolutely. How many members are a part of the 211 team now, or about how many members?
We get about what?
I think it's about 10.
There's 10? Okay, so right now, there's currently 8 people who are on the phone right now. So is there anything you want to say special to them right now? Because we're about to wrap up, so say something.
Thank you for covering for us while we're here. And supporting everybody.
Yes, thank you.
That's awesome.
Tell us how you feel when you're helping a caller, and why you think everyone should call 211 when they're in need of help.
It's nice to be able to calm them down, let them know that there's people and support out there. It's not as bad as it seems in that minute. Like, it's going to be okay. We're going to get through it.
Absolutely.
Yes, and I second that. It's nice to make a difference, to basically be, because we are on the front lines of these crises, all of them. We are literally on the front lines. 211 is on the front lines of all these crises we're facing here in the state of Delaware. And so it's nice to feel like I've made a difference and I've actually helped someone in real time. It makes a difference. And so I feel good about that. Being able to help and be that resource, and like Debbie said, to calm them down. And they just feel more at ease when they're talking to us, because they can tell that we really care about what they're going through, and we're trying to help. We really are there to help.
Absolutely.
So,
thank you so much, ladies,
ladies.
for being here with
Appreciate
us. Thanks, Lynn. Thanks, Debbie. And thank you as well to the entire 211 team. That is a wrap for today's edition of Impact 365. If you or someone you know needs a helping hand, dial 211 or text your zip code to 898-211. Or check out 211 online at delaware211.org. I want to thank our earlier guests, John Bates and Paulina Jan, and a special thanks to my guest host, Donna Snyder-White.
you're so welcome.
If you haven't seen our earlier episodes, be sure to check out the streaming file for our recent shows about Delaware's Hispanic community, how Delaware Stand By Me program is helping thousands of Delawareans find their financial footing, how the Get Delaware Reading Initiative is helping a generation of Delaware children learn how to read on grade level, and how the Delaware Racial Justice Collaborative is knocking down systemic racism in our state. I'm your series host, Tiara Fair, and this has been Impact 365, television with a positive impact, brought to you by United Way of Delaware in partnership with DETV.